Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Renaldo Holder, man. I want to say, first of all,
Good night.
thank you for joining me on this live, man. Beautiful to see.
It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you, being around you. So it's
You know,
always a great adventure.
you know, the reason why I wanted to pop you on here first for my first live on Facebook. I've done Facebook live before, but this is actually me just kind of doing a real Facebook live. Probably for the first time. I did some other platforms and so forth, but I wanted to get you on first because you was probably my first guest when I started doing for True back in 2020.
Yeah,
At that time, we were doing it. It wasn't live on Facebook or YouTube. It was a different platform. It was radio based, and I wanted to get you on, man. I wanted to share your story. I wanted people to you know, hear from you. At that time, you were 2 years younger too, so I was like,
I was
this
about to
young
say
horse
a
trader.
lot has changed in 2 years. A lot has changed in those 2 years.
Yeah,
So
man. So for me, it was so fascinating to see how young you were, but you were holding some big responsibilities. So let's start from the very first beginning, man. How'd you get involved in this business, man?
well, realistically, it's true bloodline. My dad is in the horse racing business. My dad is a groom at Woodbine. He works at the gates at Woodbine. But in all fairness and taking nothing away from my dad, I don't recall being around the racetrack as a kid with my dad. I know I probably was at the races and stuff, but not per se involved with horses like that. I can remember. But how it started is my godfather always goes running at the track. He always goes training at the track. And one day, him, my little brother, myself, we went to the track and we were jogging, and the horses were still training. And I just stopped and I watched the horses for a second. And I'm like, I think I want to do this. And he's like, well, everybody here knows your dad, so just go and figure it out. I was about 9 years old. So I started at the track around 9 years old, and it was, I can really truly say it was easy. The startup was easy. I walked into the racetrack and everybody's like, hey, little Nick, little Nicholas. Everyone knew me. I had it, like, I didn't really know who much people were other than if they were from my neighborhood or whatever the case was. But yeah, it was a welcoming feeling. And I started off as a hot walker with, I don't even want to be wrong because the guy that I started with, he's actually here in Canada right now. A guy by the name of Rain Brown. He gallops for Mark Jassy, also an owner of the fund. Yeah, I started like getting a hot walking with him, and then I moved around the track from there. I ended up with Victor Cheeseman and another Bayesian guy from here near Junior Allen, and yeah, I took my little trains from there as a hot walker and messing around. While I was with Victor, Victor had ponies, the little Shetland miniature ponies. So we used to take them to the races on Saturdays and give people rides in the park, right at the bottom of the bus stop, right?
That's
So
right.
with that endeavor, I actually started getting on. So we would be riding the ponies, and Victor also had horses. So I started learning to ride with Victor, getting on a couple of his older horses, just free, just free riding, learning, having fun, riding on the road, horses with shoes on, skating all over the road, on the pasture wet, just having fun. Not really taking it on as I want to do this as a job, right? It was just all fun. But for some reason, and I guess they say in life everybody has their own calling. The
Mhm.
horses had a calling for me because I always seem to be comfortable around. I could be around anxious horses, bad horses, and they never really seem to fear me, intimidate me. Like it's just like, oh, whatever. That's just him, blow it off. And it seems to work for me. So we kept on with that train, right? So it was one thing after another. I
Did
got
you
into
al-
the right. Pardon
did you
me?
always like animals, like different animals too?
Oh yeah. I grew up with animals. I'll keep anything from fish The only thing I cannot recall keeping growing up was cows.
Mm.
I had sheep. My family in St. Thomas, we grew up. There's pigs on the farm. I had chickens in my backyard, and I live in the Bayland. So we had tanks with fish in my backyard, coops with chickens. I got dogs in my backyard. We got right by St. Paul's Church. There's a lady there right by my godfather. She has sheep. So I used to help her take care of her sheep. And my sheep used to stay there. So get up in the morning, going on by her, we take the sheep out, take them out wherever there's grass and start the day. So I always had animals, always like animals. Animals are to me a comfort.
So I mean, like the sheep and all that, that's just like the starting, right? So that was like kind of like, when the young people have they go have a little puppy or something because they want to get ready for the next step, which is having children. So the sheep was like getting you ready for the bigger things.
Yeah, I guess because I had a donkey. I also had a donkey. Well, not my own personal donkey, but he was my donkey to do as I please. Right, a donkey named we used to call him Kadu because he born on Kaduma Day. So he was owned by the late Julian Hunt from Barbados. I mean, and he taught me wonders. Riding a donkey will teach you a lot. If you have the heart, if you have the heart to endure and recover from the pain and the embarrassment that you will feel while riding, you'll make it along the way.
I was gonna
He's
say,
left me,
patience.
oh man, he's left me cat straddled in the middle of the road. I mean, he just darted from under me in the middle of the road, left me right there stranded. He's clotheslined me, he ran straight on a tree while I was riding him and just barked me off. So all his little adventures and endeavors made me realize that I think this is something that I could enjoy. It's fun. There's something to it.
So I remember in 2020, I think you told me that you wanted to be a jockey, or am I correct?
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things growing up in Barbados, growing up around the BLM or whatever. Once you start around the racetrack, automatically, I want to be out there. This looks like fun, you know? And again, as I started riding pretty early. I was actually riding, I'd say, by 10 years old. So it didn't take me long to learn to ride. To actually get into riding, I was licensed in Barbados at the age of 14 as an exercise rider. At that point, I could have gotten away with being a rider, but my dad in Canada at that point thought it was useless.
Okay.
So he had no intentions of supporting the idea at all. It was like just that's a write off. Don't even think about it. You're gonna be too heavy. Don't even waste your time. So it kind of played in my head, and I just kind of left it alone and did what I was doing. I actually was enjoying riding because, like, you've been to the racetrack here and you see how busy it is.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
difference it's not that busy in Barbados, right? People more or less have the selected people that they want to ride horses and what's not. So you being a newcomer or should I say amateur,
Mm-hmm.
majority of people will walk by you every day and leave you there. I was there for I really don't want to lie, at least 2 months without riding a horse for anybody at the track. The only person I would ride for was Peter Manning, which is the guy that I spent my last 2 years riding for before I got my license. But he was based on the farm. So when he shipped in, those were my rides. Other than that, people would just come down, hey, morning, call everybody else around me. But that's the name of the game, right? If you're not to their standard, they won't use you. We
But
can
I
be
mean,
friends every day.
but I mean, like every one of the guys that I spoke with and I talked to in the back stretch, everybody has a story how they got into the game, right? How they got involved in horse racing. So to me, it's like the interesting part is like for you as a kid, how you got involved, your dad being part. I mean, like I met one of your brothers too, who by the way is pretty funny. But I mean, you got a
Robot.
whole family. You got a whole family
Robot.
of horsemen.
Yeah, we're all in it. I have, as you said, you've met one of my brothers, you met my dad. They both work for Roger Apfield. My older brother, he also trains horses, but this year he's based in Fort Erie. My youngest brother, he's used to be at the track. He's not really a horseman in per se, but he works with horses when he has free time from his other job because he's a chef.
Okay. Okay.
So the only person that doesn't mess with horses is my sister. Smart chef. She don't
That's
mess with
right.
horses at all.
So I'm starting to find out too that it's not unique that families get involved in horse racing, like a whole entire family. I'm realizing that
Oh,
you got husband and wife. You got siblings, you got uncles and nephews. You got a whole slew of families who are involved.
oh yeah.
So this is not unique, but you guys, is to me is very interesting. Now, for those who don't know, I'm talking with Renaldo Holder, who is a trainer, a horse trainer at the Woodbine Racetrack. And this year, especially, I've been looking at your stats and realizing that you've done pretty good compared to the past, man. And tell me a little bit about
Uh this year, we had a chat earlier this year, and I told you this year has been a curveball. It was then, and it still is curving up till this day because realistically, this year I didn't plan on coming back to the track.
I know you
I had a
told me that.
I had a frustrating year last year. I sold most of my horses. I ended up with one, which my partner at the time told me just don't get rid of him. Let's try him next year. And I was settled in my mind that I was just gonna have him at the track, come in the morning, deal with him, and just be that's it, just him. Well, that did not start the way I wanted. So for the beginning of the year, because usually I train horses and the gallop horses,
Mhm.
right? And after November last year, I was kind of forced to stop riding. Okay, due to health issues and stuff, I was forced to stop riding. So that was one of my curves. That's how things started off the next year on a whole different note. Because every year I accustomed to, okay, I know what I have going on. I ride my own horses. I have my own schedule and everything set. This year, no, I don't want this hustle. I can't afford this hustle, so I don't want to deal with it. I just don't. I want to minimize everything. Nevertheless, I came in and the horse came in. I started off actually grooming at the beginning of the year for Donnie McRae, good friend of mine. Um, the year started off. Me and Donnie ended up parting ways. That was the first curveball. But here I am from not wanting to be at the track to being at the track. But it was making sense. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna split myself where I'm just coming to the track to deal with one horse, and then I also have a couple horses in training for clients, why split myself if I can make the money and do everything in one place? So I stuck around. Not a curveball. I started working for West Reward. So here I am. I have my horses, and I'm working, helping out West Reward as it comes in. But I'm happy. It's nice, calm. There's no stress. And then a good friend of mine by the name of Andrew Smith came up to me and told me in all the long words that he was taking a little vacation and he needs somebody to replace him while he's gone, which is training a barn of 19 horses.
Wow.
So I, because of the person he is, he's a very nice, respectable guy. And I've known him forever. I've worked with him before. And I have actually made a joke. Well, it wasn't really a joke. I had made a statement to him at the end of last year telling him, if you need an assistant this year, call me. I'll be open.
Well, you gotta
So
ask for what you want. You did it. You called. You
yeah,
made. You,
so it kind of
you
goes well
called
with
it,
your
man.
ask last year. Here it goes, right?
Yeah, you
So I
called.
took on that. I took on that challenge, and why I said that challenge is because I've had that many horses before, right? But the difference is now I'm training technically privately because these all belong to one client, one person, okay? And it's a well-known person. So it's not like I have 20 horses in the barn for 5 or 6 small people that people might only hear of if the horse makes a big name. Here I am training for a guy that everybody knows. Everybody knows this guy. And he has nice horses, right? So that started the year, that part of this challenge on a positive note. Some of the horses he had, I know because I've broken in, which is starting his baby from scratch for the past 3 years, other than last year. So I was already familiar with the stock that he has. And yeah, we started off my very first 2 races. I had the first one scratch, the other one hit the board. So I was off to a good start. you know. And as you say, the stats show so far this has been my best year, money wise, in earnings, right? And again, it all boiled down because I was in a situation and in an opportunity to grow with good connections. I had good people working with, and I say with because I don't believe in saying having people working for you.
That's right. That's right.
You understand?
Yeah, you
That
mentioned
to
that
me,
to me
it,
when we
it
when we did
sounds
the thing.
slavery. It sounds like slavery to me. I don't want to knock anybody for it, but I believe in teamwork. Whether you're the man paying the bills or the man giving the orders, if people don't respect you and you don't work as a team, things don't get done properly. And I say properly because things will always get done regardless. But are they done properly? Which is the whole key to getting things done successfully, right? As I said,
Yeah.
proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I don't like the word because I don't like to be called boss. People will do it just for the fun of it,
But
but
hang
I
on,
don't want
hang on. But you're the YPG boss.
the team gave me again. The team, even my team gave me that name, right? But if you will call me that, I don't want you to call. I don't want you to call me boss and then think, well, he's a slave master. I don't want it to go hand in hand like that. You know what I mean? If
I
you're
got
gonna say,
I got
okay,
you.
he's the boss, let the boss be okay, the person in charge, and let it be that. Just a person in charge of the organization or whatever. I'm not in charge of people, just
I
the
got you, man.
organization, the horses and everything. So teamwork, right? And going back to the charts now, the horses were doing well. The horses were doing very well. And anybody in the horse racing knows you will always take more loss than win.
Yeah.
So within my time, I started, I think it was just 2 months, and we got 3 wins, couple seconds, couple thirds, making a little over 250,000. So that wasn't bad. That has been my best year so far.
That'd be
And
pretty
then
impressive, man.
yeah, again, once you have the backing, it's all about having the backing. You have to have the horses, you have to have the people to back you with the horses, and most of all, I had some racing luck. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I know you're a hard worker. I know you're very energetic kind of person. Right, I'm surprised because right now you look kind of mellow, but I mean, you're usually hyped up. You're always like
Yeah,
full of energy.
be be off of all tired for the last couple of years, but that's because I just actually with another curveball. I actually just started my writing a couple of days ago.
Hmm.
So it's not, it's just the body just taking on a little bit more,
Mhm.
right? And I'm just in and out, in and out. So it's not a big deal. I'm not so hyper right now because I'm going
That-
back on myself. I start putting myself back to bed at a decent time at night, so I'm fresh for the morning. So that's all that is. That's not
you
me.
know, man, secretly, I was trying to figure out. I was saying to myself, when is this young man gonna try to get some rest, schedule some rest?
I came home and I had a nap. I had a nap. I woke up at 8 o'clock. I was good.
So I guess in other words, we're seeing the maturing, the growing up of Ronaldo. You know,
Yeah,
because when you
yeah.
start scheduling, rest and you make sure you get your sleep properly and stuff, that's signs that you're actually starting to mature a little bit more.
The body starts to tell you when you gotta slow down. It does.
Exactly. And you can't function unless you get proper rest. I mean,
No.
spouses and wives, and they would tell you that too. You don't perform like you really should, right?
Something is missing. Something is missing, and the key thing is usually be rest. You know,
Exactly.
I
Now,
learned that the hard way. That's why. That's why I had to retire from. That's why I had to take. I can't even say the word retire anymore because everybody be making fun at me. But that's why I had to take a break from writing.
yeah, you were telling me that. You were
I haven't
telling me
written
that.
since November because I've been dealing with concussions and stuff from previous years. And every time I decide, I'm gonna take a vacation, I'll go to Barbados, but I'll still be riding horses. So I never actually took a break. So I had to take a break, and thank, thankfully to the Father, I think I'm in amazing shape. I feel wonderful. I've been on top of my game so far. I've been focused so far. I guess you can say the stats kind of show it. Because even though I'm not with Joy G anymore, I still have my own barn, my own little barn with my small business syndicate of trainer of owners, and we are doing pretty well. We are
I'm
doing
glad.
pretty
I'm
well.
glad. I'm glad to hear that. I'm really
You know,
happy and glad to hear that. One of the things that when I started doing back then in 2020 for True was expose talented people, and that's one of the reasons why I got you on the show back then. And now I'm having you on the show because I realized you're a horse trainer who are progressing, and and you're one of the people who I had on first. So the thing is that I'm really excited. I'm happy to see that the improvement, and the progression since then, right? I, for me is the amount of work that you guys put in. I keep saying it to not only you but to many other trainers is that you guys put a lot of work in. You guys are there from 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, and you go till probably 3:30 the next day. You know what I'm saying?
so, you know, everybody has different schedules and different agendas, different timings and stuff. But as you said, at the end of the day, no matter how early you are there or how late you leave, there's still always a lot of time to do. Because for these animals, if we don't put in what we need and what we expect, they can only give us what they have. You know what I mean? So you can't just take him on the start and tell him, hey, go run and win me a race. He's
Right.
gonna run just how he came out the stall. If he's tired, he gonna run tired. So we gotta get there. We gotta put in that effort. We gotta make sure that these animals, these family members, right, are as comfortable to do their job as we are coming in to deal with them, and as comfortable as we would expect them to repair us. It's time consuming, but it shows great reward. Win, lose, or draw, there is a reward.
And I understand now even more how important the numbers are, because the more horses you have, obviously you can space your horses out in order for them to perform properly for you. But if you rush
Exactly.
the horse back, then obviously the horse is tired. I mean, like, for example, like last week I decided I was feeling good last week. I decided I was gonna train. I was gonna start jogging, and believe me, G, let me tell you, I'm still tired right now. So So
You
let me
know,
tell you, you need a break.
and
I'm
that's
telling you.
nobody that's pushing you. You know what I mean? That's you doing that on your own free will. And so when you get tired on your own free will, you can take a break. When a horse gets tired on its own free will, realistically, because horses are creatures of habit, so they might always got a little spunkiness or whatever, we automatically figure out, hey, they're still happy, they still want to go and do this, and still got another race in it. Until the race is done, then we're like, I guess you really didn't recover that well from the last race.
Yeah, he's tired or
But,
she's tired.
it's a fine line to walk, to know, or to be sure, right? But again, you'll learn. You'll always learn from the horses, and you learn things new. You learn new things every day. That'll never change. If you
I'm glad.
get to the point where you're not learning, then just pack it up and walk away.
I'm glad you touched on that. But I mean, before you even move forward, I just want to say to you, thank you again for doing this. And I'm starting doing stuff like this, just popping up because I'm calling this the pop-ups, right? So just pop it up and get some people involved, highlighting the guys from the Caribbean for now. I'll get other people involved later on. But for now, just getting you guys some exposure so people can see what you guys are doing. A lot of times you guys are on the track, but sometimes you don't always be seen because for the most part, uh, a lot of guys got smaller barns, right? Smaller stables, so you don't get that big shine. You know what I mean? So it's important
Appreciate
for
it.
me especially.
Very much appreciate it.
Hey, look, man. Last year, you got your first win at the end of the season, and you had Corey on, Corey Jordan, and
Yes,
now
yes.
this year you see the progression. This year, what a big difference. Can you tell me a little bit about Copenhagen? How special that horse been so far?
Oh, Copa said, man, this horse, he has a story to him. Okay, anybody that knows me will know Copenhagen was my first winner as a trainer in
As a
Canada
trainer?
at Woodbine.
Wow.
At Woodbine. Okay, I started training in the States. So when I came back here, I had, I don't want to mistake, I think I had 10 wins when I came back. Okay. Sorry, I had 9 wins before I first came back here.
And you came back from where? Explain.
US. I was traveling between Nebraska, Minnesota, Arizona, and Chicago for the winters for a period of 4 years. So I got my first winner in Minnesota, 2014, and then I carried on from there.
You be traveling from
Um,
a young man out there traveling, man.
I like to know if you call me and give me a job opportunity where there's horses and a chance to learn somewhere new, I'm always down for it. I have no filter nor fear in traveling and trying new things.
It's
The
good
the
attitude.
worst the worst will happen is you don't like it and you leave. If you don't like it, you leave.
That's right.
That because there's always an option, right? People ask me, how do you end up in Nebraska? Up to this day, Derek, I swear to you, you cannot ask me much about Nebraska. I cannot pay point. I tell you Nebraska's here, there. I can tell you Nebraska is in the Midwest. I can tell you Nebraska is a lovely place. Okay? And I can tell anybody I thank Slade Callahan a million times because Slade is the person that got me this job. Okay? I'll give you a quick story of how that ran out. I was in Florida, I was in Ocala working the sales with also a job that Slade got me. And when my job time was up there, Slade came to me. He says, come to my track. There's a guy here, he needs a rider. He has 3 horses. Okay. I went over. First morning, he got on the horse, got on 2 horses. The old man comes to me and goes, would you like to go to Nebraska? I said, right. I didn't ask him, where is it? Nothing. I said, right. He says, well, I'm leaving in a couple of weeks, so take your time and think about it. There, I went home. At that point, my dad was in North Carolina. My older brother was in North Carolina. I went home, took all my stuff, did my laundry, packed my bag. My dad says, you heading back to Toronto? I'm like, nope, I'm going to Nebraska. I said, you're going what? I said, I'm going to Nebraska. My dad's like, who do you know in Nebraska? I'm like, nobody, but I just got a job. He says, you sure you want to go to Nebraska, Renaldo? I don't know nothing but Nebraska. I said, Dad, I think I do it. It's fine. Next morning, I went, I saw Slade, as I said, guy offered me a job from Nebraska. Everybody's telling me, don't go. That's a bad place. It's right in that area. They're going to kill you there. So this is Ronaldo. Take the opportunity around with it. He said, if you get there and after a week, you're not comfortable, you don't want to be there, call me. I'll fly you out. I got there. I messaged Slade, said, I'm here. I'm good. A week later, I said, Slade, I'm here. I'm good. And I never left. I
I
spent
mean, that was
the
some good
whole time I
advice.
was there.
That
Yeah,
was
I
some
went
really
from
good advice.
there. Honestly, Slade is a very humble guy, and he will never put somebody wrong. I don't see that in him, but he's a very humble guy. He's not all out there, but if he checks for you or if you go to him, he's very genuine,
I've
very
only
very
heard
genuine,
I've only heard good things about him so far, so I'll
very
take your word.
very genuine, very very very. So,
Yes.
and
So that's
that's how my American journey started that way from Nebraska. When that season was done, I went to Minnesota with the same people I was working with. When that first season was done, I ended up in Phoenix, Arizona for the first time. Not a place that I like. I like the people, not a place that I like. But it was traveling, and within traveling, I met trainers, people, jockeys, agents, and I learned. I just keep learning. Everywhere I go, it was like a sponge. I just land on a sponge.
were you a trainer at that time, or you
Yeah.
weren't a trainer yet?
When I first left, no.
Yeah.
When I first left here, I was just a writer. I was just writing.
Hmm.
And once I got to Nebraska the first year, I did my trainer's license, and the next day I bought a horse. Because I'm like, if I got a trainer's license, might as well start it. So I bought a
Yeah.
horse for 300. I was
You might.
writing for a guy down there, and I bought a horse for 300 bucks. A horse, her name is Devil's Loop. Nobody likes to ride this horse at all. Not even in the morning. The riders are like, nope, we're not riding there. So I had to convince the riders that she wasn't a bad horse to ride. You just had to ride her a particular style. Because she was funny to ride. She would travel with her head really, really low to the ground. And if you try to pick it up, she would shake her head. So you would automatically think she would fall. But if you just
Right.
leave her, she would just take her head and lean it to the side and she'll stay there forever. And when she runs, she did the same thing. She would bring it with her head low, but then as she goes, she would bring it up. So I ran her once. She had an unfair race, and I was forced to get rid of her. And I called that a year. I just, sorry. I moved to Minnesota that year, and I just ride. That's all I did. I ride, a bunch of trainers in Minnesota. I learned the system, kind of figure out how things really work. It's a whole different atmosphere now to just being in Canada because now you're among different trainers always at different times because now I'm traveling. I'm not just stuck at one place. I'm traveling. So I might in Nebraska, if there's 100 trainers in Nebraska, when I go to Minnesota, I'll probably only see 5 of those trainers.
Hmm.
But there's another 100 or something new trainers now that I'm getting familiar with, kind of learning stuff from them just by watching the barns and stuff like that. And then you move somewhere else and it's the same thing. Every time you move, you'll get a handful of people that you might know, but then you're open to a whole new atmosphere, whole new colony, whole new way of thinking, everything. So it was always challenging, but I like that. I like that challenge.
I'll tell
right?
you, your system so far seems to be a well-designed system. Even if you thought of it before doing it, or if you were thinking of it while you were doing it. But so far, from listening to you, that's a well-organized system, the way how you went about your business to get to this point.
Well, you know, it all was opportunities. It was all opportunities. And again, this is things happen for reasons and seasons. I turned down a big opportunity years ago in Florida when a guy, I can never remember his name, I swear. My first time ever going to the States, a guy met me. I was at Palm Meadows in Miami. I was riding. And the guy says to me, he was a trainer, he had a big outfit. He says, when here is finished, where are you going? I said, back to Toronto. He says, why not come and go with me to California? I'll pay 1,000 a week. You can get up and be my assistant. You can learn from me. He says, you can grow. But at that time, I was just about to have my first kid.
Mhm.
My girlfriend at that time was pregnant here. And I'm like, nah. I said, my kid's going to be born this year. I'd rather be home. And I came home. I regretted it for a little bit. I'm like, I should really be in California. I didn't like, but then that wasn't for me. I left that alone. And then these other ventures that I've taken have helped me grow and be more independent in a way. Because my journey didn't start as me being an assistant for someone, which is never a bad thing.
Mhm.
I was never really directly appointed an assistant to someone for a period of time. I've worked with people like Bill Torrenos where I've been in their barn and they kept me like an assistant. You know what I mean? How kind of like grooming me secretly to go off on my own without telling me, well, we would like to see you as a trainer. They just kept letting me know there's more for you to learn. You're good
Right.
at what you're doing.
Mhm.
Come, learn. Had Robert Pierce from Barbados, and he's one of the people that edged me to go off and train on my own.
How important is that? How important is it to teach and also teach? I mean, like not everyone has that ability to do what you do or what other trainers do, but how important is it to teach, pass on?
It's very important because at the end of the day, you never want the sport to die.
Mm.
You
Right.
always want to see new faces, whether it be new hot walkers, new grooms, new exercise riders, new owners. You always want to see new faces because it keeps it going. You know, and as you realize, it's starting to become a more younger colony now because the older people aren't able to do it anymore or have lost the interest. So you got to now keep teaching to keep the industry developing. If not, we're gonna be in trouble. No matter where you are, it's here, Barbados, the States. If you don't keep bringing in new faces, then the game is going to get stuck because it's only so long that you can have the same 20 trainers or the same 100 people in the same organization and it continues to function and grow. Afterward, there's no more growth
It sounds
because
sounds very familiar, very similar even to the horses themselves. You can't keep them.
yeah,
You got to
that's
keep
what I mean, right?
changing
Because
over.
if you don't change the horses and stuff like that, then what happens if you have an owner, he hasn't won a race for the year? How enticed is he to come back next year? You know what I mean? How interested is he to go to the sale to buy more horses to give another trainer for next year? Well, I ain't making no money this year, which means I got to go into pocket and try to start from next year. So if you don't have a rotation of new people and new trainers and new clients and all these things, when one person pulls out and the next person pulls out, and there's no new stock
Yeah.
or anything to replace it, surely in a very short space of time, we're gonna be empty.
I'm very impressed with the with your ability to recognize all these things. I don't know. I guess like you said, there are some people like Bill, uh, who probably were passing on little nuggets to you here and there. But it's important that people pick up on those kind of conversations, pick up on what you can do to help yourself. It means sometimes we all of us got that talent within us, And sometimes it takes one or two people to pull it out. You know what I mean? But not
Yeah.
every one of us is going to be a trainer or going to be a jockey or going to be something else, right? There's some very good grooms out there who, they're like doctors. I'm finding that out myself. These guys are like some doctors without a certificate. You know what I mean?
These men are so well, like is a dedication of, as you said, everyone has their own calling, right? I've met guys that I've met guys up here that have never dealt with horses in Barbados, never cared for horses. And so simply, I don't know if it's directly they're having a bond with the horse or because of the environment that these people are in. When they get the bond with the horses and you see these people at work, you would never believe that these people don't know nothing about horses 10 years ago.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because they got into it, they loved it, they loved the horses, they got a passion for it, and it just came natural.
Yeah.
Natural. And then when you see that, then you can see the genuineness, the love, the passion, the growth that we can get because it shows that you don't have to have a bloodline. You don't have to come like from me. You don't have to come from a bloodline of horses to adapt and get into this. Because at the end of the day, I believe horses speak to people differently, all different people.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
You know?
me and my friends, we were just playing dominoes and we were talking, and we were talking about some of the horses when they kind of break free a little bit and they run around, get loose, and they run around the track. And sometimes the trainer or the groom would just come and stand up right there, and the horse stops right in front of you, in front of that person. So I'm just saying, they talk to us, but how we respond to them, that's the key.
Because
They talk to us.
most people get feared. Most people will see a horse and the first thing they're like, this horse is big, he's dangerous, and they get intimidated. And you can't blame people. They are big, intimidated animals, right?
Yeah, they're pretty
So,
big.
but I don't know if you were at the racetrack yesterday and you
Yes.
saw there was a whole, like a party going on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They had a party
So,
on the side over there by the
yeah,
tent.
so you might have 100 people in there, right? And there might have only been, let's say, 10 people out of that whole crew that would actually be people that would come and touch a horse with no fear. But
Mhm.
the other 90 admire horses. You know what I mean? And those are the kind of things that build clientele, keep this business rolling. Because somebody might admire a horse, don't have no background about horses, but just love them, come around, get familiar with them, come to someone like me. Oh, cool, you want to come to the back stretch? Take them to the barn, and there you go. There's somebody new added that has no former relations to horses. So just like how you have new bloodlines of horses, you got a whole new bloodline of humans coming into the racing world.
And new relationships. And
Yeah, and it's important for people like myself, and I honestly commend you on the work that you're doing because these
thanks,
little
man.
videos and stuff like that not only exposes us, the people, but you expose the racing world. You've been able to show a lot of people a little bit of what goes on the backstretch.
Well, I'm trying. I try really hard, and I try to bring it to the public because there's a lot of stories out there. For example, like I know, like a couple years back, they were saying that how the Ontario government, wasn't going to fund some parts of the racing and all that stuff. And I think it's important that they see what you guys are doing, especially when I speak to some of the older owners of horses, and they say like there's some people who work at the back stretch who this is without these horses, they don't know how some of these guys would operate. This is what they love. This is their passion. They don't do anything else. Horses is their thing.
Nothing. That's it. That's
But
it.
it's important, it's important that that is exposed, and it's important that your business continue to strive in a way that can function as a proper business. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at your stats,
And
Ronaldo.
I appreciate that.
I'm looking at your stats, but this is going back from last week with 56 starts. Only 56 starts. You had what is it? Let me look it up here. Let's look it up. It was like purse earnings just under $252,000 at September, starting starting in April or May. And so far it's been your best year so far. And you still got another 2 months or so to go. How many horses you got
Yeah.
right now in your barn?
Well, actively it. It. Yeah. It. And as I said, everybody so far has been going out there putting the best foot forward. Um, my most recent runner was competency yesterday, but the racing luck didn't play in our favor. So we just back to the drawing board. But you know, it, it's a challenging sport.
You gotta be tough. You gotta be tough. You gotta be
And
tough.
it's here we're here for competition. We're here to compete. We're not here for walkovers or handouts. So we know what we're up against. We know every day we gotta come out here with our A game, especially for people like me and my little team with the small guys. So we try. We really try, and I do commend my whole team. I got horses with my good buddy Mikhail Carmichael, which is Bar. I got horses with another good friend of mine by the name of Damien and Dave, the two brothers. They have horses with a guy named Chris Seeley, and these are all Asian guys. Each of them have their own couple horses. Chris has two, Damien has two, Mikhail has three, and they do good teamwork. They're all good horsemen, and the horses are showing. Yes, we might have started off slow with this little barn for the beginning, but everybody within the last, I want to say, 8 starts. I think I've only missed the board twice, which
Uh,
would be Corpus Day and one other horse for that.
I'm gonna say it to you because you guys are doing a tremendous job. But how important is it when you think 5 years from now, when you're not so young anymore, and how important is it for you to build your business in a way that you can sustain it? You can make this thing work for you. I mean, so much experience in this business, and you got to grow, you got to expand, right? It's an interesting time in our lives in general, period, man. You know.
You know what? You asked a very key question, right? And I'll tell you why. Because for me, up to this point, as much as I love horses and as much as I dedicate a lot of my time, I've really truly still just been having fun, right? And then the sales happen.
How many
We were
horses
talking
you
about
bought, man?
curveball.
How many horses you bought?
We were talking about curveballs all year, right? And this is the biggest curveball to me because I have a partner of mine. I'm not going to mention him, but I have a partner, and we were looking to get one horse. One horse. Okay. I I like babies to deal with for other people. I don't like babies to deal with for me. For the mere fact that a baby is the future. Okay. And I don't want anybody that's listening or watching to be straight away from what I'm about to say. Okay, it's
Don't
just
say
me
it, don't
being
say it.
factual.
Don't say it, Ronaldo. Don't say it.
Okay, I'm
Don't
gonna
say
leave that
it.
part out. Okay, so let's go to let's fast forward from there and say I bought we bought two babies. We bought two babies this year, and none of the two babies we bought were our picks.
Sorry,
Throughout the
they're
whole
what?
catalog, they were not my picks.
No, okay.
As in, like we throughout the whole catalog, we did not select these horses.
So how'd you pick these ones?
One was a one. The first horse I bought was the wrong bid. We could have swore we were bidding on 85, right? So I had just walked
That's too
back saying,
funny.
I had just walked back saying, and bear in mind, I've never done a sale to buy a horse. I've worked sales in terms of getting horses prepped for the sales and stuff in the States. I have never been in a bidding ring because I had never had interest in buying a horse.
Right.
So if I have a client, I want a horse, go right ahead. I'll look at it from outside, go right ahead. So the whole is out and not, I never knew. But I was watching all day, we were fine. I walked away, came back. He says, "Oh, our horse is in the ring." I looked up. I kid you, I could have sworn I saw 85 on the screen. And the guy called the horse name. Cool. So we bid. I closed the bid. A little bit later, my good friend Carlos Grant, he says, "Who did you buy so far?" I said, 85. He goes, "But 85 is scratch." I said, "What do you mean 85 is scratch?" The 85 wasn't in the sale. I said, "I just bid on 85. Ended up being 86.
Yeah.
So I said to my partner, "What do you want to do?" He says, "If we can get the horse returned, fine. If not, don't stress it." So we couldn't get her returned. So we locked her in. But again, everything happens for a reason there.
Hey, listen to me. I don't know if you named the horse already, but the perfect name for that horse would be Scratch 85. Scratch 85.
I don't want to name nothing with scratch because I don't want to get to the gates and I hear horse number so scratch. No, I'm
I
not
guess
gonna go
that
down that road.
I guess
But
that's the worst thing you would want to
I
hear.
will give you her name.
What's her name?
I will give you her name.
Oh,
Her name is Aracasta Historia.
holy! I can't wait for the guy calling the races to call that one.
Okay, that is the name I have selected for her. And I'll give you a quick hint now because I honestly think we're gonna have a story about this horse.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to call in the horse name. The horse is going around the track, actually.
So that is her, okay? And because I bought her by mistake, her name means be a success.
What I really
That is the meaning of her name.
I truly hope
Be
that
a
the horse is a
success,
success.
right? And throughout the catalog, the horses that I picked, I was, as you said, 5 years from now, where do I see myself? And honestly, if the longer I stay in this, there's a desire more for the big picture. So I'm talking classic, Queen's Plate, Triple Crown, you know, the Canadian International, the classic signature races that you'll want to see in the business. Hey, I might be lucky and fortunate enough to end up in the Kentucky Derby, but for right now, my classic is home. So I'm gonna try to build a foundation and a name for myself. So
I
going
think
into the field, go ahead, sir.
No, I was saying I think you have a perfect opportunity. I mean, the platform is there. You know,
The platform is there, and I think right now the timing is right. I do.
I agree with you. I think it's a really good time in our lives. You know.
Who knows. Who doesn't know? I guess they'll have to wait till she comes out. But me being young in terms of dealing with the breedings and stuff, for what knowledge I do know, and my partner is very good on it. When I actually look back at the catalog to the horse that I bought, she suits what I was looking for.
Hmm. Okay.
She's literally everything what I was looking for. Without even seeing it, she was right there in front of my face the whole time. And then we bought another one. We bought number 161. Again, he wasn't any of our picks, but no matter what I bid on, this is one reason why we ended up buying these two horses in terms of price wise. Because the first horse I wanted, I really, really, really loved this horse. And I said to my partner, "What's our budget?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll tell you when to stop." So I'm like, okay. I'm cautious because I don't know what we're spending.
Right.
This horse, this horse walks into the ring, and I was hell bent on this horse from the night before when I saw him. Right, the bid starts at 2,000, and I jump it and I go with it, and we are going and we are going, and we get to about 13,000 on the bid stall, and I'm like, good. I think I'm feeling good. I just might have it because I'm at 13,000. The guy, the auctioneer rambles on. And just like that, the horse goes 15, 18, 20. So I look at my partner, he looks at me, he goes, "Do you want him?" I say, "Yes." He goes, "Then go." So I go to 25, and the horse stalls again. Right? The horse comes from 25 to 35, 40, and I just walked away. Because I don't know he got the my price rate. I just walked away. He sold for 85,000, right? I'm like, the Neto walked in the ring, same thing. He sold for 100 something thousand. Everything that I started go after, and I got up to 20 grand, the prices just ran. So
So I guess.
these two,
Uh-huh.
this last one now, he walks in the ring, and I said to my partner, "I'm not bidding. To hell with it." And we sit there, and the horse walks in the ring, nice looking little horse, and the bid starts low, 1,000. And it's dragging, and it gets to two. And he gets to three. And my partner goes, "You want it?" I'm like, "It seems like nobody really wants it. So let's see if I bid on it, if he'll jump the price." I
You're trying
go
to use
five.
reverse psychology.
Yeah, so I go five. And just like that, he goes 6, 7. I'm like, "You see what I mean, Danny?" As soon as I bet him, no, it gets interesting. But then nobody else went. So I took him for 8.
Hey,
Look at his pedigree. Another suitable horse.
well, let's hope that that one works out well for you also.
And
So
his
what you
name,
got? A boy and a girl?
yeah, and his name is Arcasta Aizan.
My goodness. Like,
And his name is Success Story. So we got Success to Be and Success Story from two
I,
horses that I never looked for.
again, I
So
can't
I
wait
started right
to
off the
call
bat with a positive note. You know, I started with a positive note, and the goal is to play.
Well, listen, man. I want to wish you the best with those two babies. I know you said babies. You like helping people with babies, but to actually have your own babies. But now this is the maturity because now you're growing. So now you got to look at things differently and see the patience with the babies and so forth. So yeah, this is maturity. This is the new Renaldo Holder. I
Well, that's what I see for myself. I think this is the part where I'm going to elevate because I got a whole different focus I'm coming in, I'm starting with something from scratch that I have invested in. So it's not like, okay, we have these babies, they just came in, they already know what they're doing and everything. Somebody put them in my hand and asked me to work with them. These are mine that I am literally actually going to start with from scratch as of next week because I will be breaking them myself.
Wow, nice, nice. I mean, like, and from as early as September, October, this is when you guys start breaking the babies and to
Yeah,
get them in order for next year, right?
yeah. People, again, with this breaking system, people have different ways. Mine is more of a quick educational system to just kind of let them know this is what to expect. It's not about training, it's not about getting fit this year. It's just a short space where they learn to get the saddle on, learn to be steered, learn to accept certain things. And then I leave them alone for the rest of the year so they can grow up, mature, and I'll start them back up end of February, I mean like end of January next year. Give them a month or so before the track comes in and go from there.
I think this is
But
going to be an interesting time for you. I think this is, I think that these two babies might actually help you grow and mature in this business, you know?
I think so. I've been feeling it already for the last since I bought them. It's just been changing my mindset. It's just been changing my mindset because as I said, it's time for me now to take that next step. Try to play with the big boys. Actually play with the big boys now. You know, try to see if I can nurture and groom something in towards allowance and state caliber, something towards the bigger races. Right now, yes, we're just playing around with the little tamers and we're having fun, we're making money, you know, we're learning. So time for me to take that next step now and actually try to raise the future in my own hands and see where I come out of that.
Hey man, I think it's a good attitude to take. I think is a good opportunity for you and for guys like you. So I just want to wish you all the best for the rest of the year actually, and also going into next year. Hopefully those babies, they start to operate properly and start to move as you said, like the team. You guys start to maneuver together. Before we go, because I don't plan on being on here for much longer. But I want to ask you about the jockeys that ride for you and how important it is that you make sure that they get the mounts because a lot of them don't always get a lot of mounts.
Well, jockeys and everything is usually a team decision, right? And also based on trying to figure out what jockey suits the horse. Because it's not to say every rider suits every horse. You know, you got to kind of figure out the jockey's riding style, the horse's running style, and try to work with that. So I might have to call the owner, or the owner might call me and say, "Hey, we want to run. Let's try using this jockey. Go to the channel, see if the jockey is available to his agent. If he's available, you get it. If he's not available, then you have to go to plan B. But more or less, it's all about who we think suits the horse best. You know, small guys usually get trouble getting big riders.
Mm.
No matter how you might have a decent horse, but you're a small guy, you have limited numbers, and the big guys go right for the bigger trainers. They have more numbers. So even if on the day I have the better horse, he'll be more inclined to take a loss but right in one for another trainer that has 20 horses because he knows he's probably going to pick up another 5 winners in that part rather than say, well, I want to win this race and I can worry about tomorrow to win tomorrow comes.
So it's all the numbers
things,
game again. Is the numbers game again?
always numbers against numbers. It's always numbers against numbers, and you can't knock it. You know,
No,
people might say,
definitely.
"Oh, it's bad politics," but you can't knock it because numbers talk. At the end of the day, numbers talk. So
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
business where you got to give and take and always expect the unexpected. Nothing in this business will ever go as you have planned.
So again, for
Exactly.
those who don't know, I'm speaking with Renaldo Holder, who is a trainer at the Woodbine Racetrack. He's had a pretty decent season so far. I guess it's your best season probably ever, career wise, and you're looking to build on that going into next year. I know we spoke about the patience, about being how important that is, especially for the babies to grow, but also for you to grow as well. So, I mean, on that note, I want to say thank you, Ronaldo, man, for doing this with me. I hope we can probably do this again in the future. But you know, this platform is always going to be available for guys like yourself, for trainers, for whoever, just to pop on and let's share some of the good things that you guys are doing at the racetrack.
Very much appreciated. Derek, before we shut down, because I know we are running out of time,
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to share a little something, right? As you were asking about writers and stuff, teamwork. People don't really understand how this teamwork goes. As again, as you might say, if people see you come over to the front side with the horse, you see the trainer, you see the groom, you don't know the back log of it. So I have a very good team, and one of the main people in my team right now has suffered an injury last week. He his name is Mikhail Carmichael. Everybody knows him as Bar. So he had a fall last week. He had to undergo surgery and whatnot last Sunday. Thankfully, everything went well. He is home right now, which I'm thankful for. And in light of that, we were going to have a party on the 19th of September, something called Born Fighters. This was before the incident. This is just a couple of the guys from the racetrack, the small guys that win races. We came together. We will have a little event. This event has now been changed into a fundraiser. So we will have this event September 19th in the West End with the Old Coffee Arena, which is right at Derry and Galway, across from the McDonald's. So there's tickets, flyers, and stuff available out on all my social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot. Asking people to come out, support, and most of all, enjoy yourself. It's going to
Yes,
be an event regardless. So we have music. There's going to be food available. Like there will be food available for people, and then there will be grill available for sale. So food is free. Anything on the grill is for sale, and you can walk with your own cooler, so you can pick your own poison and come out and have a good time.
it sounds like a good event, especially it proceeds to help the young man that got injured. You know, it's important that people, not only in the backstretch, but other people involved, help guys like himself. You know, these are guys that get the horses ready and so forth, right? So
And he's a hardworking guy. He rides horses, he ponies, so he is he has really played a big part in my horse culture this year. I've had a lot of people that have known me, but for the last few months, he's been steadily being the one there, being my writer and stuff, because I was out from writing until recently. So I really give him a lot of thanks for all the help he's given out there for me. And I know with myself saying this can be coming on behalf of a lot of people at the racetrack. We wish you nothing but the best. We just want to see him back to his old self, back out there, in good health. And the fundraiser is just the beginning. It's
yeah,
just the beginning of how we do things for each other. You know.
yeah. Let's try.
That's that's
Let's
that,
try to
that's
help
the
and
end of
support.
my whole trace. And at the end of the all about togetherness.
Yeah, let's try to help and support. I mean, you know, a fall is not easy, and then surgery and so forth. So it's important that the guys and people in general help in this situation. Help promote the event, make sure that the word gets out there. I hope that people who are watching will understand and help support as well. And then we can always move forward. Hopefully we can get them back pretty soon. Is there anything else you want to say, Mr.
Very much
YPG?
appreciate it. Very much.
All right, my man. Thanks for
Well,
doing
I
this
got
again.
2 horses out on Friday. There's 2 running on Thursday. Got 2 in on Thursday. So
You're pretty excited about that again. Something to look forward to.
yeah, let's go and see if we can win a race on Thursday and we can off on another good note.
That's right, my brother.
But again, Jam, thank you very much for the exposure. I really appreciate the interview. Thanks for all those who are out there listening, watching. And don't be afraid. Come over to Woodbine. Come watch the races. Come see what's going on in the backstretch. Come see if you want to find a job. There's lots going on, and you're always welcome.
All right, my man. So on that note, man, we'll catch you guys another time. Let's do this again some other time. And I wish you all the best for the future. And also, you know, wish those babies will grow up real fast and wouldn't make you scratch your head so much. You know what I mean? I can't even pronounce the names of those horses, man.
Hopefully you hear them a couple of times in the winner circle and they'll get stuck with you. I will message the names to you though. I will send you the name.
All right, my man. All right, man. We'll talk later, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for doing this. All right, my brother. All right.